Hey, you guys. Okay, long enough. It's 12:22. Go figure. Of course it is. I got off at 12 and I have an hour, so I should have done this sooner. I did have to run my old phone. You guys know I traded in my iPhone for an Android after like 10 years. So I had to return that. And yeah, now I'm here. So I'm going to try and touch on this, but the whole point of me doing this 7-day series is basically to start out my thoughts. I've done like live streams in like an educational, inspirational format, which is great. And this probably will be that for you. But for me, it's just to kind of organize my thoughts and have something that I can go back to and listen. And I know that my brain, like, I love these live streams now. Like, I feel like I'm really good at it. I love it. And the feedback is awesome. And I feel like it's really impactful. So what better way to do, and I operate differently when you hit go live. Something happens. And for me, that feminine energy just kind of, okay, it's go time. Here we go. Do it, you know, and it's just like being pushed off, and then you get to find out what you're really made of. So it's really cool, and this is the format that I'm gonna use. So I just wanted to take a moment as I'm like looking at myself. I have totally evolved. I'm 33 years old right now, and I used to like wear lots of makeup, and I'm kind of loving this new me. Just like I belong on a beach with wavy hair and salty textures, and you know, even if I'm still at my 9-to-5 in corporate America, like this is, you know, the evolution into that. So okay, the 3 things that I wanted to touch on today was domestic violence, experiencing a spiritual awakening before, during, and after that, and then developing this mindset, this new me that I've evolved into now. So if you think this is beneficial for someone, please share it. Like I said, I'm writing a freaking book. I hired a coach, thanks Erin, and I'm being like pushed into these situations where I'm forcing myself to level up. I love it so much. So yeah, there we go. And I've got 30 minutes. So hopefully I can like have this, it'll be 7 days and I'll listen to it. There we go. Okay. Thank you guys so much for the love. All right. Okay, cool. So I wrote out like, this is it. We're blank here. So, I'm going off of all of this, and I do want to preface this that, you know, when I had left that abusive relationship, I was diagnosed with PTSD. Which does a number to your brain, and how I'm functioning right now was through a lot of holistic, you know, natural figuring things out, a lot of trial and error, a lot of hard stuff. I really put in the work to become who I am today, and I'm proud of that, and I believe that it's important to share that, so it's not just me, it's other people. So knowing that, you know, I'm operating with that diagnosis and a slew of other things that really, like PTSD, depression, anxiety, insomnia, and ADHD. So that was kind of the beginning, which that's in 2017, and that's my beginning, right? Okay, so let's backtrack to around 2011 is when I met my ex, the twins' dad, and he was supposed to be a rebound, straight up. Me and my ex had just broken up, and my friend was like, hey, let's go out to a bar. My friend has a friend. It'll be cool. So I go to the bar and, you know, meet said guy, and I really admired that he was a working guy. Like, he was a hard worker. He was in a bar with, you know, work clothes on. So, like, that's something that I admire as a hardworking man. And, yeah, it turned into something that was very lustful. I got attention, and, you know, when the whole rebound thing, like, that is what it is. And it just quickly turned into fast-paced, followed with trauma. I mean, we had gotten pregnant really soon. First, we moved in with each other. Because it just so happened, and then we got pregnant, and I'm skipping like a lot of things here, but the this will give me like the baseline of all of the things. I don't want to give you the whole book, so this is good. Moved in together, got pregnant, lost that baby at 6 months. That was in 2012. And that had a lot of trauma bonding. He was an addict, so let's add drugs in the mix to this too. And a lot of quick fixes to get to a point where, it was a lot of off and on. That was in like 2011. We met. Carter had died in 2011 in June. I'm sorry, in 2012 in June. And then he went to Florida for rehab 2 times out of state. And, there was a period in time in 2013, 2014 where I went back with my ex. Quick fixes, right? Let's just do this. Whatever makes you feel good, right? Let's be real here. We're chasing that good feeling, but in all the wrong ways when we're not looking inward. Okay. A lot of revelations. And then he came back, great, and, healed, woohoo. So jumped right in it again, got pregnant again, this time with twins. It was pretty incredible to experience death and life and the synchronicities in between, and ponder when you're stuck with your thoughts about, all of this crazy stuff that's happening. It's just, life deals us cards, right? And this was my deck, and I've been interchanging them, sometimes I go all out and, I've got to, buy back in, and we're all doing that. We all are on a journey. It may be different, but I think that we are all connected, and it all comes back to ourselves, oneness here, rather than chasing the external things. So, yep, had twins, and then moved from that apartment in with his parents because there was obviously no room, and that started the 4-year hell that I endured in an extremely toxic environment with toxic people, that generational just trauma, and one by one, looking back on it now, if I knew then what I know now, there are moments where I had a business meeting yesterday with a woman who kind of sparked this. You guys know, I am a planner person, right? I write my week down and I know what I'm going to do. I knew what my content was for this week. I make money online, okay? I show up for this now because it's my passion to share such vulnerable things with you. And, it's part of my healing, and I see what good that it is doing for other people. And the fact that we can do this with technology now is absolutely insane. So I'm all in. Okay, so where did I gotta not look at the comments for a second, because I am gonna come back and touch on all of this, and it's gonna help the more that you input what's relevant to you, the context of how I really shape this. So yep, 4 years started. And yeah, as soon as I had the twins, it was started day, we didn't even leave the hospital, and he left. He just left, gone. That was it. And, just little moments here. Yeah, it was quite the 4 years, and I'll go into a lot of that, but I'm going to fast forward now into the spiritual awakening that I had, and this was in the 1 year before I left. So this was 2016 when I experienced this. It was a sense of knowingness that kind of came, knowing that after 3 years of living life like this, no, this isn't right. This isn't who you are. This isn't how you're supposed to be treated. You're constantly walking on eggshells. That, in our bodies, we develop this, it's when you're and I'm learning still about like the science behind this and what actually happens for our bodies. Like, why do I have PTSD? Like, how did I develop this? And that's, you're learning this stuff. So the rush of chemicals to your brain when you're in that position of being in fight, flight, or freeze, it's our body's response. And I lived that constantly. So yeah, fight or whatever, the rush of endorphins and, the chemicals in your brain and what happens. So, yeah, to the last year, it was just a sense of knowingness that this wasn't right. I didn't, something was wrong. Okay, because you have to understand, this was manipulated and groomed in me for years leading up to this point. So the abuse was normal. Being treated like this, talked down to like this was just normal. It didn't hit me until I had left filling out that lethality form, like checking yes. Oh, okay, my life is in danger, and I thought that was okay. When did I think that was okay? At what point did that switch happen? And that last year before I left, it was this sense of knowingness that something wasn't right. And I started to get these, it's like I just developed a higher intuition. I had a friend that stayed with me throughout the entire 4 years, and she was my lifeline. There were many times where there were 3 times that I was in a dark place. And if I had not had that one glimmer of hope on the days, and I mean every day, and this is why I want to raise so much awareness for, victims of domestic violence, because when you're in it and you don't know it, but you just have stories every day, it's something else. I mean, and you live that for years, and you have someone to just say, that's not okay, but just listen to you. And she listened to me every single day for 4 years while I lived that hell. And I attribute so much to her today for being that. And I hope that I can be that for somebody else, because that was absolutely incredible. So I got this sense of knowingness, and I started to see 11:11 on the clocks everywhere, in the middle of the day, at night, 1:11, afternoon, at night, same thing. And I started looking it up, and this friend was into, spirituality and stuff like that, and she would tell me things, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And, she really was the one that opened up my mind to all of this, and Googling, what is a narcissist? Like, what is an empath? What's numerology? What does this mean? Like, asking deeper questions into what my reality was. And so I got this, from what I received, is that it was like a guidance, like a spiritual guidance. You are being guided. There is divine intervention happening here, something big, and you're protected. And you can, step into that next you, because we're here. And that was kind of the sense of knowingness, like a protection. I started to take more risks. I started to work out and eat healthy and develop routines and strength because of that. And the more that I got into it, the more that it grew. Change your environment, change your life. My environment changed. I started scrolling on positive people on Facebook. That's where it starts, you guys. I started watching YouTube videos, self-help. I started listening to free audio stuff. And then, it was building my strength and my confidence that I don't deserve to be treated like this. Like, other people are living happy lives. Like, I can live a happy life too. I deserve to live a happy life. I started to build confidence in me. Still, all the while, I couldn't work. I was a stay-at-home mom. Tried too many times. I love network marketing because it gave me hope. It gave me a sense of community when I had nothing. And it gave me a sense of purpose. So I was sold the dream at 18 with Mary Kay. So yeah, but I had to hide all of that and hide working out and hide that stuff because I just got belittled for everything I did. Like, my sense of self was gone. I second guessed everything. Nothing I did was right. And that just, it beats you down, and it beats you down into where you lost everything. And that's why I think that last year it really came in. Like, that higher power within me came out with divine intervention. I believe in a higher power. I believe there is a God. I believe we're all connected. And I believe that my life, you know, we all have free will, okay? We all have free will. And I took, you know, wrong turns with my free will. And you know, there's points and times where I feel like you are just guided back on track. And I am blessed enough to say that I have been guided back on track. So that was the beginning of the spiritual awakening that I experienced 1 year prior to leaving. And then upon leaving, this is why this is all happening right now. It was on January 26th, 2017, where I left. But the days leading up, specifically on January 24th, that was the Tuesday. That's the night that it started with me leaving. I went out to dinner with a friend, and I had met with her 1 year prior to that, okay? So mind you, I was deep into that toxic relationship and knowing the whole while nothing, you know, this isn't right. And I had told her 1 year ago, you know, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave. I'm going to get a job. You know, I knew I was being treated wrong, but you just get comfortably uncomfortable. And I got that way for 6 years. And that's a shame. And I guess that's why I come with such fight now, because I feel like I'm making up for lost time. I lost a lot of time. And I know that I can bring this badass self out. So when I step out of my comfort zone and I push myself, again, you know, I'm kind of being redundant here, but you get it, right? You really see what you're made of. And she had told me, girl, you said that last year. Straight up. Thanks, Lauren. You said that last year. And I'm like, wow, you're right. And that's the kind of like girl talk that I needed. That's the kind of like empowerment that we bring to each other. Like, real talk. It's going to be hard. If you can have friends that you can be real and vulnerable, and sometimes it's hard conversations, but they push you to your next level. That's good stuff right there. And that's what she, you know, gave to me that night. And I was like, okay, something clicked. All right, cool. And it was locked in my mind. Okay, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get a job, and I'm just going to tell him that I'm getting a job, and that's it. And I had that, right? Energy is contagious. Do you feel this? Do you feel it? So, yeah, I stayed on that vibe. I stayed with that thought, and I was like, okay, what kind of job am I going to get? You know, then my imagination just started running wild. And then that brings me to Wednesday morning, when this was January 25th, 2017. You know, my mom had gifted me a car. Like, I couldn't drive, you know, but then I had to lie about that, but whatever. I was going to church on Wednesday mornings to a small group. And it was us moms that got together. It was like a little Bible study thing. And yeah, they had said that morning, you know, we're going to have to change the schedule up and do a different morning, you know, and kind of like voting everybody, you know, what do you vote for? And I remember it was a really weird feeling. And this is, again, you know, being guided. And then I have tattooed 1111. Like, this is my reminder, you guys. Like, there is more. I am stronger than I think. I am protected. I am safe. I am ready to just be me and share me. And this is that reminder. So as it came to my turn, I spoke up, and it was like word vomit. It was like I knew I was talking, I was saying things, but what was coming out was just forced out. It was all truth. It was just being forced out of me. And I said, you guys, I'm not going to be able to make it to small group anymore. I'm going to get a job. And yeah, for the past few years, I've been being abused, and I've been hiding it. And I don't want to live like this anymore. And I don't know what to do. I don't know, you know, I don't know anything. And it just started pouring out situations that had happened. And, you know, most recently when he had It was on January 2nd when this was the first time he went after, I have an older daughter, and he went after her on January 2nd, 2017. I remember we were leaving his granddad's house for a Christmas thing, and it was raining and it was dark, and they gave the twins were hyped up on sugar, and everybody was crying, and Ashlyn's in the back seat, and she was on her phone, and I told her to put the phone away, the blue light, I'm, hippie, and she didn't listen, and he reached back at her while driving in the rain. The cars, it was just one of many moments where I thought that I wasn't going to live. Like, that was going to be it. I've had several situations like that, but that was the first time that he actually physically went after one of the kids. And I'll never forget, she missed school the next day. I remember meeting her dad at the gas station, and he had his eyes locked on, her dad, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, here we go. And I was able to, you get in the car, you get in the car, you get to your dad, you go home. And she was safe, and I was okay. But I still had the twins in the back, and we still needed to get home. And wow, I'm really going into this. Okay. And I had told them that morning that had recently just happened. And I woke up the next day, January 3rd, 2017. I was explaining this to them. I didn't sleep at all that night, at all. The tension was, we didn't talk. And I woke up, and I just, out of my mouth, I told him, I didn't sleep at all last night. I thought you were going to stab me. That's what I said. And he looked at me, and, wow, we're like reliving this. This is, you guys know I have PTSD. So hold on, let me take a drink here. I'm like, this is healing right here, you guys. And he looked at me and he said, very serious, why would I stab you when I have guns? That's what he said. And that was one of those moments where it was, kind of compiling everything before that was normal. Bart's just swept it under the rug again. It's a cycle of abuse. You have your high times, you have your low times, and they just come far and few between as it progresses. And I was like a record breaker. I was the whole 4 years, but he doesn't hit me, but he doesn't hit me, but he doesn't hit me. Yeah, things suck, but he doesn't hit me. And then I didn't leave when he did. It's September 17th, 2016. That was my 30th birthday. That's the night that he hit me, and I still didn't leave. Crazy. I have so much to put in this book, you guys. Yeah. And I saw it like flashing lights. And I told them that. All of this came out that Wednesday morning, January 25th, 2017. And then, it happened so fast. I'm sobbing. The truth's coming out. Next thing you know, I'm standing up. I feel them, holding me, walking me into a next room, and I'm on the phone with somebody, a counselor or something, and they're asking me questions, and I'm answering, and then 2 hours later, I'm filling out a lethality form with social services, and at the end of it, my life was in grave danger. And it was all normal to me. And that was one of those awakening moments where You're guided. You're protected. Wow, this is crazy. This isn't you. You're going to be okay. You're safe now. You're doing it. And I was granted a protective order. And that was a whole process. But still, the next morning, and I planned that night, I'll talk about that in the book. But the next morning, January 26, 2017, all those women that I poured my heart out to came to get me. And my contractor bag's full of stuff, all the kids' stuff, and I left. And that was day one of the rest of my life. And I feel like I got another chance when I left that day. And here we are, only 3 years later. Like, I'm in awe at what happens when you jump out of your comfort zone, take a risk, you're supported. The universe, smack dab. I had nothing. I had no job. I had no car. I had my mom's car. No money. And I'll never forget, when I had left, we had joint checking. I could have taken that checking account. And it was like $1,400 and it would have gotten me by. And I remember I had just deposited an insurance check for like $200 like a couple days before. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take my $200 because that's mine. And I don't want anything else. I don't. And I thought that was like, I could sit here and say I deserve that money, and yeah, that money would have helped me, and yeah, that money went towards him hurting me, in this long, enduring custody battle that, you guys know I've shared that a little bit. We all have stories. We all have stories. But yeah, just like magic, the universe just poured out opportunities that helped me along the way. When you jump, when you take that risk, when you do what you're so scared to do, but it's for your highest good, like waves crashing one after another, you will be guided, you will be protected. You are entering into your right path for you, and you know it because you feel it. It's that bliss feeling. That's energy. And we emit that. It's a frequency. It's a vibration. I won't get too, hippie on you, but I started diving into that, and that kind of takes me to developing this mindset for success. With where I'm at now, I submersed myself. January 26, 2017, I told my parents, I told myself, that was a vow. I said, you give me 1 year. I'm going to give myself 1 year. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I am going to, what happened to me is not going to be the death of me. It is going to be the rebirth of me. And damn it, I did it. Every day I woke up early. My mom had me and all three of my kids back in my old bedroom at my mom's house, for 1 year. And I ate healthy, and I was listening to personal development, and I was reading books, and I was watching YouTube videos. When I showered, I was listening to something. When I was washing the dishes, I was listening. So I submersed myself into positivity. My thoughts were shit. Okay? I had to get somebody else in my brain. So that's what I did. I reprogrammed my subconscious mind to change the negative thoughts of my old self where I was. And you'll even notice with PTSD, you get triggered. You get a feeling like maybe I'll see his car come by, or, we have a court date coming up or something. I'll get triggered, and it's almost like I revert back to that old mindset, to that girl who, was so isolated and abused and just worthless. And fear. But that's not me anymore. This is me, right? I built this. You can too. And I submersed myself into that, that's a trigger. That's, what PTSD is. So I'll get triggered. And then, you know, I've created this thing online where I have friends now, and I can just like pop in a voice message. You guys know, if we're on voice messenger, if you're in my inbox and we're, you know, talking, it gets crazy sometimes. Sometimes it's like a slew of voice messages and we're just pouring each other's hearts out, and like that's what we need. That energy is like I said, contagious, and it helps, you know, bring you back into, this is you now. That's not you. You don't have to do that anymore. Like, what do you want to create? What's the feeling that you want to achieve? And then like getting put right back on track. And yeah, so I submersed myself into positivity, read books and watched TED Talks, and I would, in 2017, I wrote everything. I would listen to a YouTube video over and over and over again, and I would write it out. I could present it to you. I have like hundreds of these YouTube videos and books, and I just wrote everything out, and I would say it to myself in the mirror. That was another thing that I did. Recommended in a book was this mirror work, and you speak into existence what it is that you want to create. And that is how I manifested what I have now. And that's going to be on tomorrow. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of myself. I did it within 30 minutes. I touched on all of it, and woo, I'm taking you into tomorrow. So tomorrow is What's Your Why Wednesday. So tomorrow is going to be my why. I'm doing what I'm doing now, and you know, now I messed up. I was so excited for myself. Hold on, let me take a drink. We're live, you guys. This is it. Okay, so my why for tomorrow is What's Your Why Wednesday. Why am I doing this now? Who I'm showing up, you know, for myself online, how I want to positively impact and influence you. And yeah, we're going to dive into that. And then how I manifested this. So a little bit more on mirror work. Yeah, manifesting. So manifesting and my why. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Thank you so much, for watching. If this inspired you at all, please share this. I would love for this to get into the hands of somebody that it could really help. And if this is you and you want to connect and talk, please don't be shy. Send me a message on Facebook Messenger. I would love to connect with you. And yeah, hope you guys have an awesome Tuesday. Thanks for watching. I'm like gonna go do a happy dance now. I think I'm gonna walk around my building before I go back into work, and then I have a yummy salad to eat, and I got some fresh avocado, and I'm feeling good, you guys. So yes, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.